Are you looking for a power bank which is portable, powerful, supports many charging protocols for smartphones, laptops and cameras? Then I might have the perfect recommendation for you. The 165 watt retractable cable power bank model PB726 from UGREEN. I'm Graham Horton and let's have a closer look at this device. First of all, as usual, a full disclaimer. I was sent this product by UGREEN to review for you, but as with all my reviews, I don't accept scripts. I'm not told what I can and cannot say with the product. These are my own opinions, and if there's anything that needs bringing to your attention, I will do so you can make your own informed choice as to whether it will affect your possibility of buying the product. With having said that, let's get started, unbox the product, and I'll show you what you get with this device. So this is the device, as you'll get. Nice attractive box. It's the model PB726 and is a 165 watt device. Having said that, it does support 3 outputs, as you'll see in a moment, and each individual output will depend on the configuration of the devices that you're charging from the device. If we have a look around the box, first of all, on the back of the box you'll see all the specifications for input and output and under certain conditions, the total output for each of the ports, the total cell capacity. A little bit needs to be read into that. It's 20,000 milliamp hours. There are 4 cells in series. Each cell is 5,000 milliamp hours, so the total capacity is 20,000 milliamp hours, but the user capacity is 11,600 milliamp hours, as you'll see when we do the review in detail. On the side of the box you can see the specifications for that retractable cable. It's 65 centimeters long, or just over 2 feet. It's got an insertion and pull out of 10,000 times for the plug itself, and the retraction device, the spring-loaded retraction device, is good for 10,000 retraction cycles. And on the other side of the box we have the compatibility list of devices, so laptops, tablets, phones, cameras, switch devices, earbuds, watches and camping lanterns, just to name just a few of the devices. One thing I do like about this package is the user friendliness and the fact that it's printed with soy ink, so that when these are disposed of, it's nice and clean for our environment. Let's unbox it and I'll show you all the features of the device. Once you take the sleeve off the box, you're presented with the inner carton. The new lineup of these devices is this sort of robot character with the animated smile that you'll see on the display in a moment. So this is the box. Let's open it. And inside you'll find the actual power bank itself. Just put that to one side. We've got the user manual, more user instructions and a help guide. Also in the case is another carton here, and in this carton you'll find a nice carry pouch for the device to stop scratching of the display, and you've got a Type C to Type C cable, so you can use this for output, or you can actually use it for charging if you didn't want to use the retractable cable. So everything's supplied in the box. As you can expect, the user manual is in multiple languages, and again you just have to find your way across the specific language for your region. Diagram of the main component parts of the power bank, the display screen, charging options, discharging options. Everything's combined within this little pamphlet. Everything's there, you just have to find your way around it. On the desktop here you can see the actual device unboxed. It measures 146 millimeters by 54 millimeters by 50 millimeters. And weighs about 500 grams, so just about a pound weight. So the device itself is a plastic case with a large OLED screen here, and On the back you've got again a reminder of the input and output powers, all the certifications for safety on the back of the product here. Nice little rubber feet so it doesn't scratch the device or scratch your tabletop. On the side here we have the power button, and a clue here is more than power, so there's a multifunction of this button which we'll explain in the video. So that is the device. Let's turn it on and look at the animation for the power up screen. So I'm just going to press the button for about 2 seconds, let it power up. There's our little robot fellow saying hi. Gives you an indication of the current battery charge, and at the moment it is at 78%, and you might be able to see on the top of the screen is the remaining time of the discharge. So on the desktop now you can see the top of the display with the USB-A port for output charging and the USB-C for input and output, and the retractable cable, so you can actually charge or use this to charge your devices. If we just look at the cable itself, it will extend out to that 65 centimeters, and it will extend out, and there are 7 detent positions, if you like, to have the cable extension, and to release it back into the thing, just release and let it slide back into the case, and you've got magnetic catch in there to hold it in place. So very neat and very portable. On the top of the unit here you can see the retractable cable, which capable of supplying 100 watts power to your external devices, or you can charge this device from a wall mounted mains adapter to give a power input of at least 100 watts to charge this device in around about 2 hours from a 100 watt PD charger. We've got the Type A output, which supports multiple protocols for charging devices such as smartphones. So we've got the PD delivery, we've got QC2 and QC3 available from the device, and again the Type C2 output, again capable of delivering 100 watts on its own, or if you want to use the C1 and the C2 together, you can have 100 watts on C1 and 65 watts on C2, so you could charge, if you like, a phone and a laptop simultaneously with this device. If you wanted to charge multiple devices such as a phone, a camera and a laptop, then we can look at the table there to see what power is allowed to be taken from each of the ports under each of those conditions. As a demonstration of the ability of this power bank to support multiple devices, I've got here the Samsung Galaxy smartwatch, which is a very low current device, and normally when you plug those into power banks, the power bank will shut down and stop the current to charging your device. But this device supports trickle charging, so it doesn't allow the power bank to go to sleep, so you always maintain the charge to the low current device. I've also got a RGB video light here, which is Type C, so we'll charge that from the C2 port, and I've got my Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra here, and I'm going to charge that from the retractable cable. So first of all, I'm going to plug in the cable into the C2 socket, so that's on the top of the unit, so that's C2, and I'm going to plug that into the Type C input port of the RGB video light. So let's just turn that on. You can see the device comes to light. When we plug the device in, it brings the power bank to life, and you can see here the output. Just take him out of sleep mode. You can see the C2 output is showing that we're providing power now to the device at a total power of 15.3 watts. Remember the logo on the side, more to power, and if you press the button once again, you can actually bring up a nerdy display, if you like, of the output power, and it's a graphical illustration of the voltage and the current over time. So you can see the graph here, it's showing that the output is 9 volts and the current is 1.7 amps. So that's a useful feature, and the graph gives you an illustration of the charging of the phone or device. One more time, comes back to the main display. I'm now going to attach the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra to the retractable cable, so just undo that. pull that out, and I'm going to plug that into the base of the S24 Ultra. Beginning to charge, as you saw there, and immediately on the display you can now see the current being taken by the smartphone. Currently again 15.3 watts. As the video light now is approaching fully charged, the current has now dropped off on that device and it's now only taking 8.5 watts. And again, if we press the side display, we get an indication of both C1 and C2 as to their output power. I'm now going to connect the Samsung Galaxy smartwatch to the device. So I'm going to unplug the LED video light from C2 and plug in the smartwatch into the C2 port. And again, immediately pops up the current being taken by the smartwatch, and you can see that at the moment it's 1.5 watts. Again, full disclosure there, you can see that the output is 5 volts at 0.2 amps. If we go back to the main display, if I was only charging the watch, then if I just disconnect for a moment the smartphone, which is taking the maximum amount of power, the unit is here just taking 1.5 watts, so that's a very low current device. And with most power banks that would go into the shutdown mode. Here, to keep the power bank alive, if we just press and hold the power button for about 6 seconds, you notice at the top of the display a little symbol which means that we're in trickle charge mode. So the unit will keep on providing power to your low power device. It will not go into the sleep mode. So that's a useful feature for these devices. You can see here now I'm charging my smartphone and concurrently charging my little camera here. So both are using the Type-C output. One is using the retractable cable on C1 and the other is using a wired cable on C2, and you can see the output power is 7.8 watts on C1 to the smartphone and 4.5 watts out to the camera. And again, if you wanted to see the exact position, the voltage going out to the smartphone is just under 9 volts, and this is using smart technology to adjust the current as the phone demands it. And here we have the C2 output, it's 9 volts at 0.5 of an amp for the camera. To show the power potential of this device, I've got my MacBook Pro here being charged over USB-C through the C1 cable. It was fully discharged, so it's now in its charging state. I've also got here a high power LED video light, and I'm running at maximum power, so that is taking over 40 watts. And you can see on the display the C2 output is taking 58 or 56 watts there. So the total power output, if you like, is just over 100 watts. And if you go into the secondary display, you can see the C1 output for the laptop is just under 20 volts at 2.2 amps, and the C2 output for the video light again is just at 20 volts, 2.8 amps. So that is the capacity of the output. To charge up this device, here I've got a 200 watt capable gallium nitride mains power supply, of which I can use the Type-C output from here to charge up the device. So I'm going to be using the retractable cable to charge this. So just bring out the retractable cable, and I'm going to plug that into one of the Type-C output ports of this device. And you can now see on the display the charging status. So you can see we're charging currently at 61 watts input power. And again, if we look at the specification, that's 19 volts at 3.1 amps. So that's a 60 watts charging capacity coming from the mains wall socket. To differentiate your charging and discharging, the charging is shown in green and the discharge is shown in light blue. So if I just plug in the output from C2, you You can now see the output from C2 is shown in cyan colour. So we're charging the device with 61 watts and currently we're output 14 watts to the unit which is attached over the cable into C2. And if we look at the display, you can see we've got C1 input and C2 output. To achieve the fastest charging time of this power bank, you really do need the high current PD devices which can provide 20 volts at 5 amps, which will give you the 100 watt capacity input. If you've only got a standard charger which can only provide you with the 1.5 or 2 amps, then you can see here that the charge time remaining for this device, which is already at 55%, is 5 hours and 2 minutes. And if we look at the input power, we can see that it's just under 5 volts at 1.6 amps. In my next video, I'll be reviewing a new retractable power supply from UGREEN, and this is again a wall socket device and has got a USB-A output, a USB-C output and a retractable cable, so you can attach this to your devices. This is a 65 watt charger, so it hasn't got the same power as the larger 200 watt one, so it will take much longer to charge this up to 100% than the power delivered from a larger capacity power source. So you can see the output potentials for this device are great. With the USB-A, obviously you've got QC2 and QC3. With QC2 you've got the step increments 5, 9, 12, 15 and 20. With QC3 then the actual device that's connected to it can control the output voltage from this device in 50 millivolt steps, so it can actually increase the power progressively to maintain the temperature within the host and also the slave device. So great opportunity to use QC3 with the new smartphones which do support QC3 charging, such as the Samsung Galaxies and the Apple iPhone. So you get much rapid charging with controlled environment. So that's it for the video. Hope you found it useful. Of course, if you're a new viewer, why not hit that subscribe button if you've not already subscribed to the channel. So until the next video, where I'll be reviewing the 65 watt retractable cable charger from UGREEN. Thanks for watching, take care, and I hope to see you all very, very soon. Goodbye for now.